Hey, I appreciate you being here. Seriously, it means a lot. And if you hit subscribe, you'll bring a real smile to my face. All right, let's get into it. The sun slipped beneath the Maui horizon, casting amber rays across the balcony of our rented villa. In her glass, Kelly's wine shimmered a deep red, beautiful and distant, much like her laughter, which now rang hollow where it once felt alive. I'd brought us here to honor 10 years of marriage, to breathe life back into something we'd let fade. But as she sat beside me, Kelly felt like someone I used to know, familiar on the outside, unrecognizable underneath. My name's Noah Whitaker. I'm 39. I work as a financial advisor. I value loyalty above everything. For a decade, Kelly had been my wife. I thought our foundation was unshakable. This vacation proved otherwise. The shift was gradual. She began taking long walks alone, saying she needed space to clear her thoughts. Then came the spa visits, ones that always seemed to stretch long past dinner. I tried to reason it away, convince myself it was nothing. That is, until I caught her outside the hotel lounge, murmuring softly to a man I didn't know, wearing the smile that used to be mine. I didn't lose my temper. I didn't make a scene. I just watched. That night, as she prepped for yet another late spa appointment, she left her laptop open on the table. I sat nearby, sipping bourbon, wrestling with my paranoia. Then I glanced at the screen. A chat window still glowed. He doesn't suspect. Same room tonight. I can't stop thinking about you. He never made me feel this way. Soon we'll be free. The name above the message is Chase Jordan. She had mentioned him once in passing, said he was a fitness coach at her office gym. Now his name was etched into my memory like fire. I didn't scroll back. I didn't need to. My hands didn't shake from heartbreak. What settled in me was colder, sharper, certain. I closed the laptop and made a decision. No drama, no confrontation. I'd dismantle the fantasy she'd built, quietly, methodically. She returned late that evening, radiant, the scent of another man concealed beneath rose-scented oils. She curled into me and whispered, "Feels like we're reconnecting. I think this trip's helping." I kissed her temple, smiled. That's good to hear. Inside, I was already planning her undoing. Over the next several days, I played the loving husband. We dined by candlelight, took long walks on the beach, captured smiling selfies. Meanwhile, I was collecting evidence, backing up every message, syncing her location data, tracking every lie she fed me. And Chase, I did my homework. 32, gym sculpted, social media influencer type, peddling empty inspiration and thirst traps to bored women looking for an escape. Kelly wasn't his first affair. She wouldn't be his last. I uncovered photos of them together on the same beach where I had once knelt with a ring and a promise, the same shore where she'd cried tears of joy in white. That image nearly destroyed me, but I held it in. I began rerouting our finances, moved joint savings to a trust in my name, cut her off from every banking portal, opened P.O. boxes, set up online accounts she didn't know existed. I even bought burner phones, booked a meeting with my lawyer the morning after we'd return. Everything I did was precise, silent, clean. On our final night in Maui, she waltzed in barefoot, heels in hand, hair windswept. "Sorry, babe," she grinned. "They offered me an extra session." I handed her a fresh glass of wine. "You earned it." That night, she melted into me, murmuring, "I feel whole again," and I replied softly, "Same here, Kelly." I finally feel awake. She had no idea that her double life was coming to an end. We touched down in San Diego on a cloudless Wednesday. As we taxied to the gate, she leaned over, kissed my cheek, and said, "Noah, thank you. That trip meant the world." I nodded. "Glad you enjoyed it." She turned back to her phone, likely messaging him. I already had a new apartment under an LLC I'd quietly created. By the time we reached our house, my lawyer was already setting everything in motion. The finances had been sealed off. My contingency plan was live. But I waited. The first 48 hours were crucial. She had to believe I was none the wiser. I unpacked, Cooked dinner, watched movies beside her, even chuckled at the right moments. She looked at me like she still had control. She didn't know I was documenting every deception like an attorney building a case. When she left for a corporate retreat, I locked down the rest. Froze her credit cards, removed her access to every account, filed for a no-contest divorce with an airtight portfolio of proof. Then I hand-delivered a sealed envelope to her company's HR office. Confidential. Inside, hotel receipts, screenshots, chat logs, and photos. Her company boasted about its family-first values. I thought they might be interested in how Kelly handled her client outreach. That evening, my phone buzzed. Kelly, my car won't start. Did something happen at the bank? I didn't respond. Instead, I watched her storm into the house through my security camera feed, ranting, pacing, throwing her purse across the room. She called again and again. On the third attempt, I picked up. Noah, what's happening? I can't log into anything. None of my cards work. I took a slow breath. I know, Kelly. There was a pause. Then, know what? The affair, the texts, the photos, Chase, I know all of it. Silence thickened, then the scrambling began. It's not what you think. Please, let me explain. No, I said, my voice cold and even. Keep your rose oils, your fake beach walks, your borrowed smiles. A beat. But this ends now. The house you built on betrayal? I've dismantled it piece by piece. She cracked. Please, can't we talk this through? We will, I replied. In court. I ended the call. That same night, I moved into my new place. Modern, minimal, quiet. No memories, no photos, no traces of her. I poured myself a scotch and stared out at the skyline. Her carefully spun world was collapsing, and I hadn't even touched the personal angle yet. The next morning, another call. I let it ring through. Her voicemail, shaky. I made a mistake. One mistake shouldn't erase 10 years. I almost laughed out loud. One mistake? It had been a full year of manipulation. I sent one reply, talked to Chase. Then I forwarded every file to Chase's wife, Rebecca, a school counselor. Gentle, trusting, blameless. Not anymore. I found her contact info through a Facebook post Chase had been tagged in. From that moment, I made sure she saw everything. The receipts, the hotel reservations, the beach selfies with clear timestamps. One photo even showed Kelly wearing the dress she swore she'd bought with her own money, the one I gave her for our anniversary. Less than 2 hours later, Chase scrubbed his entire Instagram. That night, Kelly rang me 5 times. I let the calls go unanswered. Instead, I forwarded every detail to her boss, proof that their affair played out on the company's dime. Her career was next in line. This wasn't vengeance. I wasn't looking to destroy her. I wanted something quieter, something exact, something justified. Her suspension landed faster than I expected. By Monday morning, she walked into the office in her usual crisp white blouse and sleek skirt, the picture of composure, the kind of woman used to charming a room. But by mid-afternoon, she was sitting in an HR conference room across from a sealed envelope. Inside, evidence, emails, calendars, photos, and a timeline marked with every policy violation. The firm had strict rules. No romantic entanglements during company events, no misuse of business funds, and no dishonesty on the clock. She had violated all 3. She was placed on unpaid leave while they launched an official inquiry. Her building access was revoked. By the time she reached the parking garage, the rumors were already echoing through the corridors. That evening, she called again. I ignored it. I had something else to do. I drove to the place we'd once spent Christmas, her parents' house. She was always their pride, untouchable, adored. I wanted them to know what she'd become. Marshall and Diane welcomed me inside. They offered me sweet tea. I passed. I'm filing for divorce, I said calmly. They stared back, stunned. Diane's voice was soft. She's been going through so much lately. I slid a folder across their dining table. You should see this. Inside, chat transcripts, photos of her with Chase, screenshots of her mocking me. Marshall's jaw tightened. Diane's hands trembled. I gave her everything, I said. I loved her without boundaries, and she tore our marriage apart like it meant nothing. Diane started crying. Marshall said nothing, just stared at the folder, frozen. No defense, no excuses. I stood. I wish you peace, but I won't be part of this family anymore. Then I left. Next, I turned to the digital world. A single simple post. No drama, no names, just truth. 12 years, built on faith, loyalty, love. While telling me everything was fine, she gave herself to someone else. I'm done. No anger, just facts. And I walked away. The pieces clicked together quickly. People figured it out. Kelly's follower count shrank. Messages from her disappeared. The ones who mattered reached out. Some apologized for never noticing. Others said they had always suspected something, but never knew how to say it. As for Chase, he vanished, wiped his presence clean, silent. And Kelly? She kept calling. It was close to 10 p.m. when my phone lit up again. I hovered over the block button, but I picked up instead. Her voice was hollow. "Noah, please, don't shut me out." "I already did," I said. "I've lost everything. My job, my parents. Chase disappeared. No one will talk to me." "That wasn't my doing, Kelly. You made those choices." A long silence followed. Then she said, "You don't understand." I felt alone, unloved. "No," I replied. "You were bored. That's not the same. And instead of talking to me, you gambled everything on someone who didn't care." She broke down. "I miss you. I miss what we had. I miss who I thought you were." I ended the call. The divorce was finalized that same week. Thanks to the prenup, the one she used to joke about, and its fidelity clause, she walked away with nothing. No alimony, no house, no savings. She had signed it all back when forever still meant something to her. Weeks passed. The quiet was almost eerie. No messages, no appearances, nothing. Until one Friday as I stepped out of the gym. I froze. She was leaning against my car, hoodie faded, jeans frayed, her hair pulled into a loose bun, no mascara, no shield, just desperation. She clutched a folder with worn edges. "Noah," she whispered, "I'm not here to fight. Please." I didn't respond. I just hit the unlock button. "I have nothing left. My dad won't answer my calls. My mom cried when I came by. I'm staying on a friend's couch, but she's moving soon. I don't know where to go." She handed me the folder. "It's all here. Legal documents, my statement, and a letter. Please, just the letter." I looked inside. Court records, a written confession, and a long, emotional note, stained by what looked like tear marks. But one line froze me. "I was pregnant, Noah. It wasn't Chase's, it was yours." Time didn't slow, it just stopped. "You were pregnant?" I asked quietly. She nodded, tears brimming. "I miscarried. After you filed, I didn't tell you. I didn't think you'd believe me." She wasn't wrong. I exhaled. "And you thought this would change things?" "No," she murmured. "But you deserve to know. I was selfish. I made awful decisions. But I never stopped loving you." I tilted my head slightly. "No, Kelly. You stopped loving me the moment you ran to someone else to fill your silence. Love isn't vows on a wedding day. It's choosing your person, again and again, through everything." Tears ran freely now. She sagged against the car, arms wrapped around herself. "I ruined it all." I opened the door. "You didn't ruin it, you gave me my freedom." And I drove off, watching her fade in the mirror. Later that week, the final documents arrived. Every asset split according to the prenup. She left with nothing, not out of spite, but because she had made that decision long before. I heard she tried living with a cousin in Nevada, picked up a part-time job in retail. No car, just public transit and long walks through the cold. Meanwhile, I was rebuilding. My new apartment was clean and simple. No ghosts of what used to be. My new gym, quieter, less flashy. The people, grounded. And then I met Elena. Dark hair, gentle eyes, a quiet strength that didn't need to be loud to be felt. We met at a finance seminar, shared book recommendations. Coffee turned into deep conversations, conversations into trust. With her, there were no secrets, no unexplained absences, no perfume on a jacket disguised as business. Just truth, just calm. 3 years had slipped by, and I was no longer the man who once stood isolated on a balcony, bourbon clutched tight, drowning in heartbreak. The wreckage of my past life, my marriage, had become the foundation for something solid and enduring. My professional path had flourished. Whitaker and Reed Financial, the firm I'd founded, now served a roster of clients whose assets started in the 5 digits and climbed steadily higher. Elena and I had just moved into a lovingly restored craftsman-style home in Portland. Sundays were our sanctuary, slow mornings, rich coffee brewed strong, jazz spinning softly from old vinyl, and crosswords that we never rushed to finish. There were no secrets, no suspicion, just a quiet kind of honesty that settled in our bones. I hadn't known how badly I needed that kind of peace until I finally lived it. One misty afternoon, with rain brushing gently against our coats, we ducked into a warm little bookstore downtown to wait for the skies to clear. While Elena wandered off to lose herself among the novels, I drifted toward the business section. My hand reached for a copy of Fast Company, but I froze mid-motion. Behind the register, tidying a stack of hardcovers, stood a woman with tired eyes and a name tag hanging by a thread, Kay Whitaker. She didn't notice me, but I saw her, Kelly. Her hair, once vibrant and full of life, now hung back in a limp ponytail. Her shoulders were slumped, her body language worn down by burdens I couldn't see. Her clothes were wrinkled, her movements robotic, as if she was simply running on muscle memory. She looked like a dimmed version of the woman I used to know. I didn't approach. I didn't need to. Instead, I quietly touched Elena's hand, and together we stepped back into the soft drizzle without saying a word. A week later, an envelope showed up on my desk, no return address. But the handwriting was instantly familiar. Noah, I saw you at the bookstore. You looked whole, at peace. I never thought our paths would cross again, especially not like that. I almost said something. I wanted to, but I didn't want to shatter whatever peace you've managed to find. I thought time would make it hurt less. I hoped the guilt would fade. It hasn't. I still remember the look in your eyes when the truth came out. That moment has haunted me ever since. It follows me everywhere. Some days I wish I could forget, but maybe this is mine to carry. Maybe that's fair. Still, thank you for not adding to the damage I already caused. I read the letter once. Then I tucked it deep into the back of my filing cabinet, behind outdated tax records and forgotten business proposals. Not out of anger, not out of longing, simply because it was finished. I didn't need closure anymore. I had already found it. She was still circling the same drain of regret. I had stepped into the light. What Kelly had lost wasn't just a marriage. It was the one person who truly saw her, the one who believed in her when she didn't believe in herself, the one who stayed until she was the one who walked away. And the harshest truth of all? I didn't have to destroy her. She had done that on her own. She struck the match. She soaked everything in gasoline. She invited the flames in. Real revenge wasn't about watching someone crash and burn. It wasn't frozen accounts or collapsed careers. It wasn't social exile or public humiliation. It was me, reclaiming my life with my integrity untouched, my spirit restored, and my future rebuilt. Not through revenge, but through healing. Because some betrayals don't need justice served on a platter. They wear down the betrayer day after day, fragment by fragment, until all that's left is the echo of what they lost. Some stories don't close with fury or grand finales. They end in quiet, with someone strong enough to walk away for good, never once glancing over their shoulder. That's where this story ends. Let me know what you think in the comments. If this resonated with you, stick around for more. Until next time, take care.